Okay, so we're starting the master class. This is our second master class, right? Um, so we're perhaps finishing off Tom's Midnight Garden. I understand that people who belong to other classes are almost done, right? You guys had a class yesterday. I don't know how far you went.
We finished
Um,
Tom's Midnight Garden.
that's nice, which means that we are on track. So it's Tom's Midnight's Garden that we're doing. Um, we spoke about lots of stuff, and we covered a huge terrain, and like I said, today we're finishing it off. So before I start, I would like you to tell me about the takeaways so far, things that you're not likely to forget about Tom's Midnight Garden. Yeah, Dima, come to the mic. Yeah, are you the Dima that I know, my friend?
Yes, I am.
Hi,
We
Dima,
finally
how are
made it.
you? Mm,
I'm good. How are you, Doctor?
Alhamdulillah.
Um, One thing I will never forget about Tom's Midnight Garden is that it's one of the very few stories I have read that made me cry without containing any violence or any like tragic death. It's so emotionally charged without being like severe or violent, and that's something really good. Like it was very emotionally evoking for me, but without any violence, and I hate violence in literature, and it's honestly one of my favorite books I've taken in this course, part A and B. And yeah, that's something I won't forget. Conveying emotions was so beautiful without anything severe or
Yeah,
graphic.
we call this poignance. It's very poignant. What you're describing is poignance in the full sense of the word. When
Poignance?
poignance,
Uh-huh.
Poignace. It has G in it, but we don't pronounce the G. Poignance.
Oh, okay.
So I quite agree that it's very poignant and it's very clean. I mean, you cannot really capture in words what your reaction can be to it. Yeah, it's full of everything, obviously. That's the appeal that children's literature has now with people like me and you, adults, and even beyond. So this is interesting. Other people,
For me,
anything?
what I notice is that this novel, specifically from the way I see it, it teaches like children how it is important uh, to consider the fact that time must pass, that nothing lasts forever, including childhood. And I like the fact about this novel that Tom actually accepted this fact that nothing lasts forever. Like he was bored, and once he encountered Hattie at the garden, he he didn't even notice that she was growing with each time he visits the garden. And only once his brother Peter pointed that out, he immediately realized it. And this was like a little bit like foreshadowing to the fact that she will later be married, she will fall in love with Barty. And then after that, he will no longer be able to go to the garden, only later to realize that it was all this time the current Mrs. Bartholomew.
Yeah, that's that too. Yes, and obviously it's not only children who are given the lesson that you're talking about, Mariam. It's pretty much anyone. Okay, I mean acceptance and allowing things to pass, and again acknowledging the linearity of life. Obviously, these are things that that are normally addressed to both children and non-children. I mean, adults like us. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you, Mariam. I think Wafa was raising her hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually,
Yeah,
Wala, yes, Doctor.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yes, no
Mm,
problem. Actually, doctor, the most important, يعني, the most part that I really like it, that it's very safe and clear, and from the mental part, I mean, that as me as an adult or as a mother, that I can totally agree that my daughter let them read and even watch a movie or summary for this novel because it's very
mm.
safe, very clear, having a really a great message about memory, friendship. That the exact part that I really like it.
That's interesting. I mean, the idea that it has all the safeguards there are. I mean, no obscenity, no, yeah. So, yeah, this is interesting too. Any final thoughts before we proceed? Yeah, Sadim.
Yes, hello. I know many things about Tom Midnight Garden. Um, Tom Midnight Garden is a story about memories in childhood. The main character is Tom, is assigned to live with his aunt and uncle because his mother is ill. At the beginning, Tom feels lonely and bored. Um, every night at midnight, the clock strikes 13, and Tom discovers a beautiful garden that only appears at night. In the garden, time works differently. Tom meets a girl called Hattie who's lived in the past. Tom does not grow older, but Hattie grows older as time passes. That shows the time that is not the same for everyone. The garden symbolizes childhood and memories, and it represents a connection between the past and the present. At the end of the story, Tom discovers that Mr. Bartholomew is actually Hattie when she is old. This ending shows that memories can stay alive even when time changes.
Nice, mashallah. It's a very nice, well-written essay. Did you write it yourself?
Yes,
Yeah, great, mashallah.
thank you.
Yeah. Give me a second, everyone. Okay, so I'm back. So, yeah, very interesting piece of work. Somebody's raising her hand. Yeah, come to the mic, Rima.
I want to talk about Tom. I,
Mm-hmm.
I can talk. Okay, I understand the story of Tom Midnight Garden is about a boy called Tom. He goes to stay with his aunt and uncle because his brother is sick. Tom feels bored and lonely there. Uh, one night he found a secret garden. The garden is very beautiful and I think it's magical, not unreal, and not real. Only Tom can see it. In the garden, Tom meets a girl, Hattie. They become a close friend and play together. Uh, but Tom يعني later, Tom later learns that the time is different in the garden. Um, Tom understands that the garden is from the past. Um, but this,
MashaAllah. Great. Thank you so much, yeah, Rima. Thank you so much indeed.
Doctor,
Yeah.
can I ask about something?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Uh, I have a problem. Um,
You have what?
in I have a problem with the LMS. The
Mm,
materials are not showing up for me, and I connect with advisor, but
mm.
no one is responding. I don't know how to take the exam. No one responding for me, not advisor or technical support.
That's
What I
fine.
should
You keep trying until the time of the exam, which is 6. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You'll have to wait until Sunday. And
do.
I'm excusing you. يعني that's fine if you cannot. Okay?
أنا يعني ما يحتاج أرسل لك فيديو إنه
لا
هتحل
لا
لي.
لا لا I believe you. لا مش محتاجة أبدا. أنا مصدقك
Thank you.
طبعا. أهلا
شكرا
بك.
يعطيك العافية الله يسعدك.
آه.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pansy,
Yes,
is
doctor.
it is i-
There's something.
is it Kanzi or Kenzi? Because I hate to mispronounce names.
They
Ka?
both work. They both work. Like in my hometown, they say Kenzie, but all
Mm,
over, like everywhere else, they say
mm.
Kenzie. So I'm fine with both.
We'll say Ka, right?
Yeah.
Kanzi.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Kanzi. Is it after somebody? Does it have like a meaning and a significance? Is it after someone
Well,
dear
it's
and
not.
near to your parents' family? I mean, يعني your parents.
No, it's not. Just my mom thought it was unique, so
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
good. Yeah. Yeah, go on. Yeah, you were saying something.
So about Tom's Midnight Garden, one of the things I really liked is the relationship between Tom and Hattie and how they were both lost or in a bad place in their lives. Like Tom felt abandoned leaving his family house, and Hattie wasn't doing great herself. So the fact that they found each other and found comfort in playing with each other and spending time with each other, I think it's a very, very significant thing that emphasizes like the importance of companionship in childhood. And I think each and every one of us have that one childhood friend that they have a very deep, strong connection with, and they will never be able to forget, even if they're not friends right now. So this was one of the points that really, really touched my heart in the novel.
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, it's about human. I mean, the whole novel is about human connection. Yes, it's about bonding. It's about this is how you face adversity and hardships when you have a good friend, when you have a good companion, right? So this is a message that we know this beforehand, but perhaps we needed somebody to kind of alert us to the value and importance of fellowship, friendship, companionship, like you said, yeah, Kanzi. Yeah, true. Yeah, the whole novel is about just that. Yes, and a bit and a dash extra. Of course, we spoke enough and long about the power of the imagination, and if you put them together and you think of one, you cannot kind of ignore the other. We said that both of them were put in such a way that I mean, it wouldn't have gone this way if we don't have this very interesting mix between the imagination and human connection. You would add to them, of course, memory and what memory does. And Wala, you wanted to say something.
Yes, doctor. Yes, if I can add something for
Yeah.
what Kanzi exactly say now, I also agree that what Kanzi said, and I
Mm,
want to add that the novel just remind us that the time it's not like a numbers or it's not about a numerical measure. It's like a
mm.
collection. You collect the moments, the memory, the shape we are, like shaping a human identity, the experience, the memories. That's really also I like it.
Yeah, yeah. The elasticity of time, the fact that you're allowed to go to the past and take a piece from there, and then you go to the present and you put them together.
Yes, exactly. Even in the novel,
Yes.
he chose to strike on 13. This is
Mm,
something even sophisticated, not
yeah.
the ordinary number of time. Also, that mentioned that the time it's just number, so you
Yeah.
can't count it the time. Just count the memory, the moments, the experience. That's it.
So, which means, yeah, Wala, that we have different, we have two different types of time. We have linear time, the time that we're familiar with, right? You're a child and then
Yes.
you grow up and then you know the trajectory. This is normal and this is usual. What is perhaps is unusual would be the fact that you have this non-linearity, the fact that people can hypothetically go back to the past and get the fuel, the moral fuel that they need so that they can come back to the present and face up to the challenges that they have, right? So it's a
Yes,
moral
exactly.
ammunition, like I always say. I mean, you go back to the past, not in order to stay there, and obviously you cannot stay there. You go there momentarily to get your batteries recharged if you like. I mean, it's about memories. I mean, it's about things that were good enough and things that were not too good, and you learn from both, right?
Right,
Uh,
yes.
uh, yeah, you come to the
Also, I
present.
actually, Doctor, admire the writer. I feel that it's very intelligent and smart as يعني, he playing with time, making us like feel in past time, it's like a real time. And it's not a magic garden. In some moment, I feel like I'm with Tom, with Hattie, and I
That's
feel
that's
the experience, yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, the idea that you're willingly suspending your disbelief that this is past and nothing we cannot go back to the past and stuff like that. The fact that Philip appears convince you that what is happening is not past, this is obviously a major thing. Thank you so much, yeah, Wala, for such an excellent يعني reading of the novel. Dima.
I agree with everything said, and I think the point that going back to the past is possible and that we do not have to abandon the children in us, they are always there with us, is highlighted in the novel in the passage where when Tom hugs Mrs. Bartholomew, she looks as if she's a little girl again and she goes back to being Hattie by a single hug from Tom. I think that's the passage in the novel that highlighted this whole idea.
Yeah, true. I think I have something on that. I have things that are generated from the my recordings and also from the we have a number of secondary sources. I don't know whether you have gone there or not. We have three articles, and I also managed to somehow sum them up, and I made you know explainers out of them. And this is how we're going to start. Again, this is bringing us to what I have been busy with the whole day. It's this website, or I don't know whether I can call it a website, where it allows us to post, videos. It allows us to post also audios, and this is your go-to place. Every time you want to study EA 300B, go there because I'm putting my stuff over there. Those who managed to go there, I think you're now familiar. Let me share share it with you, I mean, the website and what we have there. So this is obviously how it appear to me. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What do we have here? We have, if you click on any of these and then view most, what do we have? I think I also need to activate voice or sound so that you can hear. So as you can see, this is okay. So this is audio and it's just amazing. And then you move here, you have, this is the visual and video presentation. It takes you, see, and you go to the different, this sums up the whole idea so far. Okay, whether we're talking about Tom's Midnight Garden or even prior. See, guys, this is amazing.
No, doctor, we can't see.
You can't see? It's very strange. Does this apply to everyone? Can't you guys see?
Doctor, are you sharing your
No, we
screen?
cannot.
Hmm. It's very strange. Too bad. I'm sharing now. Can you see that?
Yes,
Yes,
now we
we
can.
can.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
like I
doctor. Yes.
said, okay. So this is the stuff, whether it's audio or video, and you don't need, and take my word for it, you don't need anything else. Okay, you have the audios, like I said, this is about time. What we have here,
In case there's an audio, we cannot hear.
it's very strange because I made sure that you guys can hear. Let me, you cannot hear, right? Wait.
No.
Can you hear now?
Can you turn it up a little bit higher? Because the volume is
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's about whether you can hear in the first place or not. Let me check that and then I can do something about the volume. Can you hear at all?
No.
Can you?
No, no, doctor. No
No.
voice.
At all? Very strange, huh?
Yes.
No.
Mm. That perhaps it has to do with the connection. I'm not happy. I'm not lucky today, obviously, because
We
happy
can
about
see the
was
picture, but the voice not.
طيب. لأن so it has to do obviously with the connection. Perhaps I'll try one final time.
They see in Ely Cathedral. It reads, Exchange time
Yeah.
for eternity.
Can
Yes,
you?
doctor. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, you have audios and videos. And this is the beauty of it, that you guys have. You go to posts and you're going to find all what we had been saying, whether it's audio or video. Okay, you can always start with oldest. See? Okay. So today, inshallah, we're
Doctor,
yeah, go
doctor,
ahead. Yeah.
where can I find these audios and videos?
Yes. Are you part of the group, the WhatsApp group? Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Master group?
Yeah, Masterclass group.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, if you go there now, you're going to find a link that I have sent like 20 minutes ago. There is a link. Can you guys see the link that I sent? Let me check if
Yeah,
Yes, we
yeah.
okay. So if you click the link, it's going to ask you to add your email. If you don't want to do that, you can simply go. You can skip this part and say no, thank you. If you say no, thank you, it takes you to the website right away. Okay? You're going to say thank you or not? I'm waiting for a thank you.
thanks.
Yeah, I've been doing this for the whole day, for
Actually,
God's
amazing job.
sake. Yeah, you'll find them, and when you go there and enjoy the recordings, I'm sure you're going to like it. Yeah, inshallah. Okay, so again, we're finishing off Tom's Midnight Garden. We're wrapping up the whole conversation. We've been talking a lot about what was happening. We started off by talking about the background, and the background is all about the novel being a statement. Obviously, Philippa Pierce was making a statement. She represents a huge sector of society who were kind of disheartened and disillusioned by obviously the government after the Second World War. They were promised the world, but the government didn't obviously deliver, so they were not happy, and people kind of react in different ways. And if you're talented and if you know how to perhaps paint or perhaps make movies or write, you express that. So this is what Philippa Pierce exactly did. She wrote this novel in order to perhaps uh, um, you know say that people are not happy. So where is this part that show us that this is a statement? The idea that of all the time periods in the past, it was the Victorian age that Tom was transported to. Again, if you know the Victorian age, it was a time of prosperity and empire, and also morality. That people were conservative and everything. Those who like conservatism. So obviously the novel is a statement. Again, this is perhaps the topical part of the novel, the part that is immediate. What is perhaps not immediate about the novel is the universality of the message. What seems to be the message? The message for me and you, for pretty much everyone, is the idea of linearity, the fact that life is linear. There is no control Z, like I say. You don't go back. You don't kind of undo the mistakes that you perhaps make. Life is going on, and of course, the trajectory is there is no um, you know reversing buttons, if you like. So this was a message that lots of us have perhaps taken away from the novel. You have to come to terms with life as it is. You have to bear and grin, if you like. Where life is not honey and milk, and obviously it's not also hell. Sometimes there are moments where we're blessed, we're happy, and everything. So you cannot take the happy part and leave out the other part. It's about maintaining this balance. It's about regulating your moods. Uh, um, so these are messages that we stand to um, receive and benefit from. Because it's a children's literature book, you have this power of the imagination, and we said that had it not been for the fantastic in the novel, we wouldn't have had, Hattie taking Tom to the past. There wouldn't have been a past, and there wouldn't have been a garden, because the garden is magical and fantastic, and because the past is something that you only accept in this kind of literature. So it's the power of the imagination that has such a grip and a hold on us, and that is responsible for so many of the things that we have seen and read, and also for the transformation that we're talking about every time we talk about Tom. Perhaps at the end we talk about how he was transformed and reformed. The fact that the Tom that we see at the end is obviously totally different from the Tom that we have been seeing all through, in terms of maturity, in terms of acceptance, and everything in between. So uh, the element of fantasy is uh, so prominent in the novel. And it's so instrumental in having things develop and proceed. Competing with this power, we have also the power of human connection. The fact that obviously, remember what I at one point said, that you can, and this is, by the way, is also like an Arab or an Arabic saying. It says, "Janna min غير ناس ما تداس." If you have all the amenities in the world, if you have all the blessings in terms of material stuff and
Yeah, it's Egyptian.
luxuries. Yeah, it is Arab. Yeah, yeah, Arabic and Egyptian is one and the same. Um, so what I'm trying to drive home here is the idea that you could have a very beautiful garden like we have seen, the blessings of this garden and the ability to go back to the past and everything. That wouldn't have been enough for Tom. He also needed uh, this abstract and obviously philosophical part, the idea that you need somebody to talk to share with. So obviously, this is very important. That's why I'm saying there is this competing power that I call human connection. It is as important as the power of the imagination, if not even more important. Somebody wanted to say something. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, come. Oh, okay. Bye. So again, we have this twin brothers or sisters, the power of the imagination and the power of human connection, and they together, help make of Tom the Tom that we are now proud of. Another very thorny issue, and very tricky, something that we've been talking about for so long, is the idea of agency. The fact that we also have competing agencies. We have the agency of Hattie. By agency is the ability to make a difference, to change things, to be transforming and transformational. We have the agency of Hattie, and also we have the agency of Tom. And again, they are perhaps competing, and perhaps that would make us stop at the end and say, yeah, wait a minute, why is it called Tom's Midnight Garden and not Hattie's Midnight Garden? Spoke about that link at one point. And yeah, perhaps we can, yeah, Marim, yeah, you wanted to say something. Come
Yeah.
to the mic.
Yeah, because I think it's called Tom's Midnight Garden because of the fact that it starts with Tom, like the initial story revolves around him, where
Mm.
he arrives to his uncle and aunt to stay temporarily, and then only later he encounters Hattie and actually gets to talk to her, and then he returns back to his actual world, where again the story goes back to him. Hattie is just has her own she only has her own angle part of the story, while the rest of the story revolves around Tom from the beginning to the end, where in the end
Uh,
he also meets the present day Miss Bartholomew.
yeah, and that's obviously we don't have absolute answers when it comes to why Tom is there and Hattie is not there. And this is literature, and obviously literature is about, feelings and sensations and perspective, right? Um, it's not also about arguing that somebody should be there and somebody and having and being locked in this kind of arguing and counter arguing, and it's this is perhaps the beauty of literature, that you can be correct and I can be correct and somebody else can. It's about perspective. It's about how you look at things. Again, but we're stressing the fact that perhaps we're not doing enough justice to Hattie. Perhaps the whole novel is about Hattie, not Tom. Um, you need to remember that Mrs. Portlomo is remembering her past. Okay? You need to remember that Mrs. Portlomo, the stuff that even Tom learned from was all Mrs. Portlomo's stuff. Her past, her losses, her age, because they went, of all the times, they went to the Victorian age where she originally belonged. So again, I don't want us to be locked in this kind of control, yeah, kind of argument, who is more deserving and more worthy of the title. Obviously, if you ask me, the two, and perhaps it wasn't long enough to accommodate the two of them. This is the only reason that I can, or excuse that I can accept. Otherwise, the meaning is up for grabs, and obviously, this is one of the beauties of literature, that it is open to diverse interpretations, and everything is valid and correct as long as you can back up your argument with, kind of evidence from here and there. Somebody was raising her hand. Yeah, come to the mic. Okay, hi, nice. Again, there are those secondary sources that I wanted to read with you. Again, I managed to turn them into also audios and videos, and we're going to take, there are three. We're going to take each one at a time. What is interesting is that they are, perhaps they are going to repeat what we've been saying about the power of the imagination at one point, human connection at another. agency, the agency of Hattie, how transformative Hattie is, and also the pastoral from pastoral atmosphere that we're living. We're living perhaps in a luminous green world, as you may have noticed. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to watch the video together, and then when we come back, we can comment on it very fully, hopefully. So let me see. We're going to start with imagination and memory, and what I call the coalition of the willing, the fact that they work together, imagination, memory, and human connection. They work together so that you can have what you have in terms of what happened to Tom, and the fact that this coalition of imagination, memory, and connection, they work together towards transforming Tom in such a way. Okay, so obviously we don't have time to listen to the podcast. This is something that I'm going to, leave you to do on your own. What we're going to watch now is obviously the video because it's like 6 or 7 minutes long. Not that long. So let me see how I can. So can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. So this is when this is a hyperlink, and then if you click it, it takes you to the video. So let me see if it can take us to the video.
All right, today.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like 7 minutes, and I would like you to concentrate, and I'd like you to take down notes. Okay? Let's do it. Bismillah.
All right, today we're diving into an absolute classic, a story that so many of us grew up with, Philippa Pierce's Tom's Midnight Garden. You probably remember it, right? There's a boy, a grandfather clock that mysteriously strikes 13, and a garden that just appears out of nowhere. But what if there's something much, much deeper going on than just a little bit of magic?
So here's the wild idea we're going to explore, and it comes from a really fascinating psychoanalytic take on the book. What if that midnight garden isn't a fantasy land at all? What if it's an internal landscape, a place the mind literally builds to work through its biggest fears and anxieties?
So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to peel back the layers of the story. We're going to see how, through this lens, the garden is really a kind of psychological playground. It's a space where two incredibly lonely kids can meet up across time and, without even realizing it, help each other heal.
To really get the garden, first we have to ask, why did it need to exist in the first place? And the answer? Well, it's simple, but it's also incredibly profound. Loneliness. This entire story is just filled with characters who are feeling totally isolated.
I mean, you've got Tom, who's been shipped off to his aunt and uncle's because his brother is sick and he feels totally bored and abandoned. Then you have Hattie, who's stuck back in the Victorian era, and her loss is way deeper. She's an orphan. And then there's the old woman upstairs, Mrs. Bartholomew, who has literally outlived everyone she's ever loved. They're all dealing with some kind of separation.
And this contrast is absolutely key. For Tom, his situation is temporary, right? He's got a family waiting for him. But Hattie's loss is permanent. It's shaped her entire life. And it's only when Tom encounters her deep, real grief that he's able to get some perspective on his own, much smaller feelings of being left out.
And this quote just nails it. Tom is totally stifled. He's emotionally starving in his relative's tiny, boring apartment. His daytime world feels dead. So what happens? His mind just breaks out at night and creates this amazing, living world where he can finally let all those feelings out. So you see, the play that happens in the garden isn't just about having fun. No. It's actually a really serious psychological process. The garden is basically a workshop for the mind, and there's actually a technical term for a place like this. So the essay talks about this idea of a transitional space, which comes from the psychoanalyst D.W. Winnicott. Just think of it like a safe middle ground. It's not totally a dream, but it's not the real world either. It's this special imaginary zone where you can go to wrestle with really tough emotions safely. And you can literally see Tom go through this process step by step. He finds this space, he meets Hattie, and by connecting with her, he starts to get it. He develops empathy, and he begins to understand his own grumpy feelings in a whole new way. He's basically doing therapy, but with magic and tree climbing.
But here's the thing. It's not just about Tom. For Hattie, this lonely little orphan, Tom is the strange, ghost-like friend who shows up just when she needs him the most. The theory is that he's a creation of her mind too, a playmate she's conjured up to help her fight off the sadness of her own grief.
Now, this story is just packed with incredible metaphors, but there is one that stands above all the rest: the Great Freeze. This quote really gets to the heart of it. That huge frozen river that Tom and Hattie skate on, it's not just a winter scene, it's a symbol for childhood itself. You know that specific period before you're a teenager, when life feels infinite and adventurous, and all the messy adult stuff is safely frozen over? And this comparison makes it so clear. On the frozen river, everything is safe. It's a playground. They can skate for miles. But the moment that ice starts to thaw, everything changes. Suddenly there's danger, unpredictability. Adulthood is coming. The thaw is the end of an era. Literally. It's at this exact moment of change that Hattie meets Barty, the man she's going to marry. And as soon as that happens, the timeless world of childhood melts away, and her magical friendship with Tom, it just fades. Time starts moving forward again. Okay, so this whole idea of time freezing and thawing, it pushes us into some of the story's even bigger ideas. This isn't just about two kids anymore. It's about the deep relationship between the past and the present, and how memory is the bridge that connects them. The book brilliantly connects these two totally different worlds. You've got Hattie's Victorian childhood, which feels huge and open but is also pretty cruel. And then you have Tom's post-war world, which is much more modern but feels cramped and sterile. And the portal, the magical meeting point between them, it's that old house and its crazy clock. So really, Tom's adventure isn't so much time travel as it is a deep dive into history through his imagination. And what's great is that the book doesn't sugarcoat the past. It shows you the beautiful, sprawling gardens, but it also shows you the harshness of it all, especially for a kid like Hattie.
And then you get this moment. This is what gives me goosebumps. Tom finds a pair of old skates with this note left for him decades ago. This is the tangible proof. This is the physical anchor that proves the dream world of the garden was connected to his reality. It was real. Okay, all of this leads us to the final, and honestly, the most mind-bending layer of this whole analysis. The book isn't just telling us a story. It's actually a story about storytelling itself. So what was actually going on? Was it a ghost? Was it just a very vivid dream? Well, this reading of the story suggests that the answer is something way more beautiful and a lot closer to home.
Here it is, the big reveal. Tom's journey into the Midnight Garden is a perfect metaphor for what all of us do when we get lost in a really good book. You open the cover and you enter another time, another world. You connect with characters who feel completely real. That is exactly what Tom does.
And the clues are all there. I mean, the very last chapter is called A Tale for Tom Long. You can read the whole book as the story that old Mrs. Bartholomew, who is Hattie, of course, is telling to Tom. Through her memories, she finds the grandson she lost, and he finds the caring grandparent he needs. The story itself is the magical garden.
And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. The most powerful magic we really have is our ability to share our stories. It's how we pass on memories, how we heal from loss, and how we build bridges to people who came long before us and people who will come long after.
Which leaves us with one final thought. Tom's Midnight Garden reminds us that memory and imagination, they aren't just an escape. They are essential tools for being human. So it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the stories that we tell to bridge the gaps in our own lives?
Interesting. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. So, what is it that Yeah, and obviously, whenever you read something, you need an article, you watch a video, it adds value. It adds to our already existing knowledge. So, what is it that the article is? The direction that it takes. What does it stress? Remember, this is made out of you have three articles, secondary sources, and you kind of have to read them. So this is a variation on one of those articles about the imagination, about memory, and everything in between. So what are the takeaways? What stands out from the article?
And the first one, doctor, was the loneliness and the separation between
Yeah, the fact that
between
they share this loneliness, the fact that
yes,
the two of them are lonely, right?
yes.
And obviously, um, being lonely would, you need somebody. If you're lonely, if you don't feel okay, you need somebody to perhaps talk to and share, and this is exactly what happened. But there is this idea that you cannot compare the the loneliness of Tom and what he went through to that of Hattie. Obviously, Hattie suffered tremendously, right? Her loss is even permanent, while his loss, if we can compare it, if we can consider this loss, the fact that he was separated from his brother, obviously momentarily, right? Yeah, somebody's raising his or her hand. Come to the mic. Yeah, Budur.
Tom live in an imagination world, and he move through the past and future because he did not live a happy life. He wanted to live in an imagination world to be happy and yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Budur. Yeah. What else about the article? What about this idea that
They
play? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
They also mentioned that this is like a time slip narrative where each several scenes depict different timelines. Like it starts with the present day, obviously in the 50s at the time where the book was written, and the garden in which Tom enters actually takes him back to the Victorian era. And once he goes back to the past, he finds that Hattie is the present day Mrs. Bartholomew, who outlived all of her relatives, including that she is the same child that lived in that long period, the Victorian era.
Mm, yeah. Obviously, there is more to it than just what happened. That there is this underlying significance, right? Um, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. What about this idea that play can be a therapy? Obviously, play here does not mean the literal meaning of play. Play here is about connection. Play here is about companionship, right? And it can be a therapy, right? Because when people play together, assuming that we're talking about only children, they share, they talk, and when you share and talk, you get relieved of your psychological burdens. There was also this idea. Yeah, Sehrish, come to the mic.
Hi. So this interpretation deeply resonated with me because what I was thinking was that maybe Hattie is telling a story and it's all is Tom's imagination and it's so vivid that he can actually be there with her in that space and time And when Hattie meets her fiance, that's when, because that's when childhood ends, and she is moving on to adulthood. So that's when he, stops understanding her on the same level as a child. So the psychoanalysis was something that was going on in my head as well. That it's all in Tom's imagination, and Hattie is telling a
What was
story.
is it all in Tom's imagination or Hattie's imagination?
Uh, for me, it was like maybe they're sitting in a lounge. Hattie is the storyteller, and it's Tom's imagination. She's taking him down the memory lane, and it's so vivid, her storytelling, that he can actually
Who
imagine being with her at that space
Yeah,
and
who
time.
has more agents? Let me ask you, Sehrish, then. Who has more agency? Who decided at the end to end it all and perhaps close down the garden and leave and become,
I,
yeah, yeah.
both of them, I guess, when reality struck at the end, both of them
Do
equal
you,
share.
I'm not sure. If you have read the novel well, you're going to discover that up until the last moment, it was Tom who went down and wanted to go back to the garden, but obviously he didn't. It just vanished, and it vanished because Mrs. Portlomo decided to perhaps wake up from the dream, the world that she was building in order to remember the past. So, don't you think that it is Hattie who decided it all, not Tom?
To end the story. Yeah, he
Mm,
still maybe wanted to linger in more because he was still a child, but
mm,
Hattie's timeline move on to adulthood. So
mm,
yeah,
mm. Okay,
yeah, that's nice.
interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Sahrish. Anybody else? Yeah. So, there was this talk about this transitional space, right? It's not totally present and it's not totally past. It's somewhere in the middle where obviously they met. And again, they met perhaps in order for both of them to heal about sharing and talking about their different respective miseries. And then when the sharing stopped because they have shared enough, perhaps it was over. So that's why we're calling it a transitional space. It's not a permanent past, okay, and it's not obviously a permanent present for Mrs. Bartholomew because you know that she's running out of years, right? Okay, Dima, you wanted to say something.
Something was said in the video. It was said that it was said that imagination and lingering in the past are not just an escape; they are like a necessity. I want to say that if it is because what's actually necessary wasn't there, that Hattie and Tom both had to resort to dreaming. And even before Tom appeared in Hattie's life, she was always having imaginary friends, biblical heroes and fairies, and she just thought that Tom was one of them. If that's
Mhm,
actually not normal. It's not normal for children to make imaginary friends unless they're really, really, really lonely. So if things were ideal, Tom and
mhm,
Hattie both wouldn't have, let's say, opened this passage through times. And when Hattie was actually like being scolded by her aunt and blamed and all of that, Tom could not lift a finger to help her. So no,
mhm,
I do not think that it is normal and necessary for every child to go this far in imagination. If things were ideal and if things were healthy,
mhm,
they wouldn't have to resort to imaginary friends or lingering in the past. Like a child daydreaming all day long, I don't think that's normal. His mind should be full of the real world, not just imagination.
Yeah, again, if you consider that, I mean, her life has been traumatic, you wouldn't blame her for that, right? The fact that, like I always say, sometimes you try to escape from reality, you try to fly away from the miserable here and now. Where would you go? You go, obviously, you're a child, and you cannot afford to go out, and nobody's allow who is going to allow you to physically travel or go here or there. So you travel with and in your imagination. You try to fly away from the here and the now. And this is exactly what Hattie did. She went all the way back to the past. And also, she needed a companion. So she created a companion. Remember what uh, the the video also said that the whole thing is a creation of her own mind. She created the whole thing.
Yes,
She
yes,
created the whole,
that she see
yeah,
him as a ghost to him. He was like a ghost to her.
yeah. Again, and he believes that she is a ghost. See, that's interesting. Okay, I think we have time to watch another video. Perhaps I'll give you 5 minutes to process. We'll take a 5 minute break, and then when we come back, we watch another video.
Doctor,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
excuse me. I want to ask you something. If Tom, a real personality or character or a ghost?
Well, for Hattie, he may be a ghost. I mean, a ghost in the sense that not a real ghost, a metaphorical ghost, because you can only go back to the past. You need a companion, and obviously you don't need, or you. I mean, the idea of having a human being traveling with you, cutting across time and space, is not very realistic. So he is a creation of her own imagination, a creation of her own mind, and in this sense, she considers him a ghost, and he considers her a ghost because he knows very well that there is no such thing as magical garden, and obviously, whoever inhabits this magical garden is also not very realistic, more or less like a ghost. So each one is ghosting the other. And obviously, we're not locked in this kind of who is a ghost and who is not. We're talking about the takeaways and the lessons that we're likely to take with us from the novel, and they are obviously plenty and many. Like I said, we'll take a 5 minute break, and when we come back, we continue. So I'll see you in 5 minutes, inshallah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay. So it's Tom's Midnight Garden that we're doing. We're going to watch another video, which is again based on the articles that you guys have. I would like you to read the articles first and then perhaps watch the videos. The articles are a very good read. I read them and I like them so much. And when you go to the videos and even the podcasts, you're going to consolidate the learning and you'll find all of them very beneficial, inshallah. So let me move to the second video on the list. So this is the one that we have done. It's imagination and memory, that the coalition of the willing. Let's do the one on time because of this kind of distinctions that the article makes between linear time and non-linear time. And then we'll move on and finish with the third one on what I call pastoral temporality or temporal pastorality. Let's do the one on time and Tom's Midnight Garden. This is the podcast that I would like you on your own to listen to. You're going to enjoy it, I promise you. But let's do the video. Are we all ready? Can I see a show of hands? Let's do it.
All right, today we're unlocking a children's classic that I think a lot of us know and love, Tom's Midnight Garden. It's one of those stories you think you know, but if you look just a little bit closer, you find something so much deeper simmering right beneath the surface. So let's dive in. I mean, just imagine this for a second. What if you found this secret world, this perfect escape? But the catch is, it's a world that belongs entirely to someone else's memory. That's the incredible idea that kicks off Tom's entire adventure, and it really sets the stage for a pretty profound look at time, memory, and what we've lost. So, to really get to the heart of this, we've got to start by understanding the garden itself, because, it's way, way more than just a place to play. I mean, this garden is an absolute ideal. It's this perfect, walled off world where it's always summer, the sun is always shining. You can kind of think of it like Peter Pan's Neverland, right? It's a symbol of a lost childhood, this magical escape from the constant forward march of time. It's a space that's not really a space, it's a state of being, the state of being a kid. And the language the book uses just brings this place to life, doesn't it? This isn't just a description of some plants, it's painting a picture of a perfect, timeless world built from the most powerful and vivid nostalgic memories imaginable. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There's actually a term for this whole phenomenon. A literary theorist, Mikhail Bakhtin, called it an idyllic chronotope. Now, that sounds super academic, I know, but stay with me. Chrono is for time, tope is for space. So it's a concept where a specific, secluded place, like this garden, gets totally fused with this mythical, non-linear sense of time. The garden isn't just a place, it's a perfect mix of space and childhood time. And that idea is so important because to truly get the garden secret, you have to realize there are two completely different kinds of time working in this story. And a lot of the time, they're in direct conflict with each other. Okay, so here's the crucial difference. On one side, you've got Chronos. That's your standard clock on the wall, right? Linear time, ticking forward, second by second, hour by hour. And for Tom, Chronos is totally the enemy, because every tick is 1 second closer to when he has to go home. But then there's Kairos. This is mythical time, it's memory time, it jumps all over the place, forward and backward, super unpredictable. And this is Tom's friend, because Kairos is the magic password that lets him into the garden. And look at this. The book itself just lays it all out for us crystal clear. In the normal world, in the flat, time is rigid. It marches on. But in the garden, the world of Kairos, time is fluid and magical and, yeah, pretty confusing. All because it's run by memories, not by a clock. But here's the thing. This paradise, this amazing escape from normal time, it comes with a real danger. And it creates this powerful emotional dilemma that is the absolute core of the story. At first, it's just wonderful. The garden is a total sanctuary. It's an escape from that ordered, linear world where Tom is expected to grow up, follow rules, and eventually leave his childhood behind. I mean, who wouldn't want to escape that? But the problem is, the escape is too good. The garden is so perfect that Tom starts to think, maybe I don't want to go home at all. The desire to just stay in this timeless childhood becomes this huge, overwhelming temptation. And this is where the idea starts to get a little darker. When you dig into the analysis, this temptation isn't just about wanting to play forever. It's a really deep desire to reject moving forward, to reject growth, order, and the natural flow of life itself. Which brings us to this absolutely chilling clue that's kind of hidden in the story. During a trip to a cathedral, Tom spots this inscription on a memorial: exchanged time for eternity. I mean, just think about that phrase. The analysis here points out that this is basically a euphemism for death. So Tom's temptation to stay in the garden forever is in a way him flirting with choosing a perfect frozen eternity over the forward movement of life. It's heavy stuff. Okay, but just when we think we understand the garden and the danger it poses to Tom, the whole story flips. It turns out we've kind of been asking the wrong question all along. We've been seeing this entire world through Tom's eyes. But is he really just a visitor? Who's the true architect of this place? The answer? Well, it changes everything. All the evidence points straight to Hattie. The garden is literally built from her nostalgic memories. We find out that as a girl, she didn't want to grow up. All she wanted was her garden and a friend to share it with. The thinking here is that the garden isn't just her memory. It's a world that's co-created by her powerful longing and the sudden arrival of Tom. And this quote is the absolute key. Old Mrs. Bartholomew, who of course turns out to be the grown-up Hattie, she reveals that Tom's presence is the catalyst. He doesn't just stumble into her dream. His own loneliness and his desire for escape actually make her memories stronger and more vivid than ever, and that's what allows them both to step inside. So, with all this new information, we have to kind of re examine the whole story and ask the most important question of all. And here's the powerful conclusion that the analysis reaches. We read the book as Tom's adventure into the past. But what if it's actually the tragic story of an old woman looking back, using this lonely little boy as a way to magically and just for a moment relive a childhood that she knows is gone forever? It becomes a story about how you can never really go back, seen from the finish line. And that leaves us with this final, really haunting question. If this whole beautiful world is a product of Hattie's mind, of her memories, then why does the title give ownership to him? It's a thought that just completely reframes the entire book, and it turns a simple fantasy into this profound and kind of heartbreaking masterpiece.
Yeah. What do you think? What are the takeaways here? Yeah, Dima.
I totally agree that I think the book is just the tragic story of Hattie told by Tom's perspective. And actually, yesterday we were doing presentations with in our section with Dr. Arwa, and me and my partner, we titled our presentation Hattie the Tragic Princess. We were just trying to see things from her perspective instead of Tom. I think Tom is just the storyteller of Hattie's tragic story.
Yeah, that's a very nice way of putting it. Yeah. Excellent. MashaAllah, yeah, Dima. Like always. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, Doctor.
you're welcome. Any more insights? Lovely ones?
For
Mm,
me, this book clearly shows the perspective of the present Mrs. Bartholomew, who once Tom arrived, her encounter with him, like she didn't actually like spoke to him, she just know that he arrived because she's like the
mm,
landlady of that flat, and from his arrival, she started dreaming of her past, and this past was also reflected on Tom by him visiting this garden. Only
mm.
later to realize that this is actually this Hattie is Mrs. Bartholomew.
Yeah, you're trying to say that they both needed, they had something
Yeah,
to
both of them
what,
kind of interconnected with each other that
yeah,
made
yeah.
them meet each other in this magical land, which is the
Yeah.
garden and Mrs. Bartholomew's memories.
She wanted, obviously, she wanted to kind of revisit or visit the past, but she needed somebody to go with her, right? She didn't want
Yeah,
to
like
go
companionship.
alone. Yeah, yes. And obviously, because you're going back to the past, obviously you're going to visit your childhood, so you need a child, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, what else about the article? Interesting insights. It has a lot. Obviously, it has a lot. And um, yeah, again, it seems that we're moving in circles now because obviously what the articles are saying are things that we've been saying and things that you have been hearing from your different teachers, right? Yeah. We have one last video to watch together before we call it a night. May I remind you that you guys have an in-class activity at 6 p.m. It's only for 5 minutes. It wouldn't actually need 5 minutes because it's like four multiple choice questions and it should be very easy. If we have gone that far, you will find it, inshallah, a piece of cake. Let's move
Doctor,
to, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, but about the in-class activities, I contacted the IT about this issue with the LMS, with the course not appearing. They fixed it, but unfortunately, it will appear on LMS after 3 days, and because of that, I am not able to see the course in my LMS. So, is there any way to like maybe send a special link so I can enter it, or perhaps reschedule, or if it's not possible, maybe make up the lost grade? Because I don't, because it's the university system problem, not mine. So, is there a way to fix this?
Yeah, and the only way that we have available would be to, inshallah, allow you to make, yani, to give a makeup.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think I don't have enough, yeah, administrative privileges to create links and stuff. So what we can do, inshallah, is that we can يعني accommodate you in the makeup quiz that we will have, but later, way later, yeah. But you don't have to worry, خلاص,
Okay.
inshallah.
Thank you so much, doctor.
You're welcome. Let's move to the third and last video and see what it is all about. Okay, so pastoral temporality in Tom's Midnight. So pastoral, when I say that something is pastoral, it gives you the feeling of an idyllic place. I mean, it's more or less like a luminous green world where there is no cares, there are no worries. Life is all honey and milk. So, and again, you have Mount. I mean, it's you can almost, kind of visualize it. It's a place where life is obviously much simpler than it is. So here it's pastoral temporality, and here it's temporal pastoral. I'm obviously playing with the words.
You know, some children's books are so much more than just stories. They're these incredible explorations of what it means to be human. And Philippa Pierce's classic, Tom's Midnight Garden, is absolutely one of the best. So today, with a little help from Ronnie Natov's amazing analysis, we're going to unpack its beautiful and surprisingly complex ideas about time, memory, and that tricky journey toward empathy. So the story doesn't kick off with magic or wonder. Nope, it starts right here with this really raw, relatable emotion. Our main character, Tom, is just deeply, deeply miserable. And the book wants us to feel that right from the very first sentence. This tells you right away, this isn't just a fantasy. It's a story that's grounded in very real childhood pain. So, where's all this anger coming from? Well, Tom's basically been put in quarantine at his aunt and uncle's flat because his brother has the measles. He feels totally abandoned, he's trapped in a place with no garden to play in, and he's completely misunderstood by his relatives. I mean, they're well-meaning, sure, but they're clueless, insisting he needs 10 hours of sleep even if he isn't sleepy. It's that classic pain of being a kid, right? When your feelings just get steamrolled by the so-called logic of the adult world. And this is where the ordinary just gives way to the extraordinary. Tom's frustration and his deep, deep longing actually become the key that unlocks something impossible. A grandfather clock down in the hall suddenly chimes an extra hour, an hour that shouldn't even exist. And just like that, a door to a whole new reality swings wide open. So this leads us right into the central contrast that really drives the first part of the story, this stark night and day difference between Tom's daytime prison and his nighttime paradise. Tom's life is literally split into two different realities. By day, he's stuck in the flat, a world of boredom, loneliness, and yeah, literal bars on the windows. But at night, he steps out into the garden, and suddenly he's in a world of freedom, of magic, and maybe the promise of a friend. One is a world of rules, and the other is a world of pure possibility. You see, the garden is so much more than just a playground.
It's a sanctuary. For a boy who feels totally trapped and exposed in his daily life, it offers a place where he can finally feel safe, where he can feel like he belongs. Here he can just be himself, away from the prying eyes and the silly rules of the grown-ups. Now here is a really powerful twist. In the flat, Tom feels unseen by his family, and that's a huge source of his loneliness. But in the garden, get this, that same invisibility becomes a literal superpower. Most of the people from the past can't even see him, which gives him the freedom to explore this forgotten world completely unnoticed. The very source of his pain becomes the source of his power. How cool is that?
Okay, now we get to the real heart of this book's genius. This isn't just a story about a cool magical garden, it's a really profound exploration of the nature of time itself.
When we talk about time travel in this book, we are not talking about a sci-fi machine, okay? It's really a metaphor for the way our minds work. It's all about the tension between our conscious life in the present moment and that deep unconscious world of dreams, memories, and feelings.
The book shows us these two states perfectly. During the day, Tom is just stuck in boring old linear time. You know, the predictable tick-tock march from 1 minute to the next. But in the garden, he experiences what the analysis calls poetic time. It's this fluid, dreamlike state where past and present just mix and mingle, and time can leap forwards and backwards in the span of a single night.
And here it is, the central, beautiful mystery of it all. The garden isn't just some random place in the past that Tom happens to stumble into. It is the living, breathing memory of the old woman, Mrs. Bartholomew, who lives upstairs. It's her powerful, dreaming longing to relive her own childhood that gives the garden its life. And it's Tom's own powerful longing that allows him to step inside it.
So this amazing connection leads to the story's emotional core, the friendship between Tom and a girl he meets in the garden named Hattie. But their relationship forces them both to confront a very, very difficult question.
This is the question that just erupts between them. I mean, think about it. Each kid is so certain of their own reality that they just can't fully accept the others. If Tom is real, from the future, then isn't Hattie just a ghost from the past? But if Hattie is real, living in her present, then what on earth does that make Tom?
Tom, trying to make sense of all this, he clings to his own logic. He uses reason to prove his case, trying to make his own reality feel secure. But in doing that, he completely invalidates hers. It's a defensive, almost cruel moment, and it's born out of his own fear.
And Hattie's response is just pure, desperate emotion. Her reality, her very existence has just been denied. For her, this isn't some logical debate, it's a moment of profound pain and terror. Her plea shows Tom the deep, real hurt his reasoning has caused.
You know, this fight isn't really about ghosts, it's a perfect metaphor for growing up. True maturity, the book is suggesting, is learning that your perspective isn't the only one that matters. Real empathy is born in that moment, when you see another person's vulnerability and you realize their reality is just as valid as your own.
Their argument and how they eventually come back from it sets the stage for the story's incredible climax, a moment where all the pieces, past and present, dream and reality, they finally come together in this one unforgettable scene.
So Tom's about to go home. He knows he's never going to see the garden again. In this last, desperate attempt to say goodbye, he runs downstairs in the middle of the day, only to find the door to the garden is just a door to a backyard full of trash cans. But then he turns and he sees the landlady, old Mrs. Bartholomew. And he sees exactly what he expects to see, a frail old woman. But then he looks into her eyes, and in that single instant, the impossible becomes real. It's a tiny detail that just pierces through time, connecting the person she is now with the child she once was.
Everything just clicks into place. The two worlds, the two timelines, the two friends, they all converge in this single, breathtaking moment of recognition.
And there it is. Gosh, it's one of the most powerful lines in children's literature. The old woman he's seen shuffling around the house is the same vibrant, living girl he's been playing with all summer. She wasn't a ghost of the past, and he wasn't a ghost from the future. They were real to each other.
This is the magic that brought them together. It wasn't a spell or a machine. It was a powerful mutual need. Tom's desperate longing for a playmate reached across decades, and it awakened the dreaming memories of an old woman who longed to be a child in her garden once more.
This resolution perfectly embodies the symbol on that old grandfather clock, an angel proclaiming, "Time no longer."
It represents a final harmony where all the opposites are reconciled. Past and present, child and adult, dream and reality, they all become part of one whole unified story.
In the end, Tom's Midnight Garden beautifully suggests that we are all time travelers, constantly in a conversation with the children we once were. And it leaves us to wonder, doesn't it? How do the ghosts of our own pasts, our memories, our younger selves, shape who we are today?
Yeah. What do you think? So what do we have this time around? What are the conclusions, if any? What did we arrive at? It's a long journey, obviously, right? Hmm. Any insights?
The I'm sorry, Doctor, to interrupt you, because
That's fine.
the girl, she was in Tom's story or Tom's garden story. It was the same person, I think, or the same girl that he was used to see her at the garden back then.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not asking a yes no question, yeah, Bashir, yeah, Bashair, and we're reflecting on the video and whatever insights it brings to the conversation. Obviously, the take this time around is different. It's we're talking about the the pastoral, or the pastoral part of the novel, the pastoral aspect, the fact that it's through human connection that they could, kind of, upon the part of Mrs. Portland, she relived her past, and upon a part of Tom, he found a friend that he was desperately in need of. Um, right? So it's about this mutual dependency, a mutual need, and how this created the world that we now call uh, Tom Tom's Tom and Hattie's world. It's about mutual needs. It's about the need for a companion and the need, yeah, companionship is key in this video. And also the video addresses those different levels of consciousness and how you move from one stage of being conscious to being totally conscious and what comes with it, and being fully conscious of life's realities and the good and the bad and the ugly is obviously something that people arrive at after a great deal of trials and tribulations. And obviously, the one who is providing those trials and tribulations is none other than Mrs. Bartholomew and Hattie. Again, that points to the centrality of Hattie and Mrs. Bartholomew in the novel. Any other thoughts, guys? Yeah, Bedur.
In the whole story, Tom is escaping, was Tom escaped from the bad reality.
Mm.
And at the end, he's he enforced to escape to accept the real world that he live
Yeah, this is the realization, perhaps the big one, the fact that he came to terms with the fact that this is life, and obviously life is about what it is and not what should be. Yeah, this is obviously a big message that it's not only Tom who is meant by this message. It's pretty much everyone. You can live in the past and in dreams all you like, but you need to remember that this is only temporary. You have to come back and face up to the realities on the ground, the good and the bad and the ugly. Okay, I think we'll stop on this note and with this item. And let me just remind you one more time that you guys have an in-class activity at 6 p.m. يلا, I'll see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Have a good day.
You too, guys. Bye-bye.